right, here's the audience. Okay, I want each of you to take a moment and pretend that you're looking in a mirror. I want you to think about what you're noticing. Is it your hair? Is it your eyes? Is it your nose? Maybe it's your mouth. And I want you to take a moment and think about those things that you noticed. And I want you to think about the thoughts that you had about them. Were they positive or were they negative? Our bodies are complex. We were created and developed by a master who sent us on this earth with a purpose, and our bodies play a role in that. Through life, and the stages of life, we're born, we grow and we develop, and then we hit a point where we may peak, and then our bodies begin to deteriorate and decay. And that's all a part of life. It's a part of a greater plan that was made for us, a plan that we accepted, and a plan that's put in place today that we're a part of right now on this earth. Part of life and the plan that we're living is we go through trials, and sometimes those trials are spiritual and emotional, but oftentimes those trials are physical. Every day, bodies perform miracles, but how often do we actually notice the miracles? Like when a mother gives birth to a perfectly healthy baby, or when a father is diagnosed with renal cancer, given very poor odds, and yet his body continues to fight those odds years and years to come. A few weeks ago in New Braunfels, Texas, there was a story about a little boy that was published in the news. This little boy is one of 3 in a triplet. He's in the 1st grade, and he's the only one of his brothers that has kidney failure. He's been on a transplant list for quite some time, and it's reached a point where they're getting desperate. No one in his immediate family or friends happened to be a match, so his parents went to social media and news outlets to try and find him a match. This school year, in the 1st grade, his teacher, who's new to that school, heard about his case because of his treatment plan. He's only there a couple times a week, so she was informed of what was going on with him. And she decided that she felt that she should be tested. And it turns out that she's a perfect match. The news outlet that published this story called it a pure coincidence. So I'm going to ask you today, do you think that it's a coincidence? Or is that a miracle? Could the master's plan really involve 2 people, their bodies dependent on each other for survival? Could that really be in the detail of his plan? Today I'm going to tell you the answer is yes. I believe so. I believe that our bodies do play a very integral part of our plan here on earth. Our bodies play a part of our eternal lives and of our purpose and God's purpose. Oftentimes, as children, we become fascinated with our bodies. That's when we first discover them and realize the capability and potential that we may have. I often hear my toddler say, "Mom, look at this," as he jumps off the couch or spins around really fast in a circle or puts his clothes on by himself. He's fascinated by what his body can achieve. And that fascination continues to be with each of us, usually until we reach adolescence. As adolescents, we tend to put our physical abilities on the back burner and focus more on our appearance. As adults, we think sometimes that that's just what kids do or teenagers do, that we're above that we know better. But do we really? I think most of the time, this stays with us throughout our lives, that we struggle with how our physical appearance is. The world has come up with many ways that they think that we can turn back the clock. In our 20s, collagen production in our skin drops to 1%. By the time we reach our 40s, we no longer produce collagen in our skin, and in return, we produce wrinkles. The world has come up with many ways, such as Botox and other surgeries performed to try and turn back that clock on our bodies and freeze time. But where is wisdom found? Is it stuck in the past, in our youth? Or is it found as we age and get older? The world would have you look at your own body as you age and say, those wrinkles are wrong, those wrinkles are bad, we want to get rid of them. The fat that you've gained on your body shouldn't be there. You should perfect it. You should try harder. So what's the point in criticizing? What does that do for us? When I make myself look in the mirror and think about what is it that I'm seeing and what do I feel, what am I actually thinking about? I think about the time of life that I'm in right now. I'm 23 years old. I've had 2 boys, and I'm happily married. But having 2 boys, my body has become scarred. It's stretched, it's fattened. And the world would have me think that that's imperfect, that I need to change that I need to work on that. The world praises physical perfection, but there is only one in this life that will ever reach real perfection, and that was our Savior, Jesus Christ. He was the greatest example that ever lived and will ever live. He mastered his body through fasting, prayer, and self-discipline. Not so that he could become a physical specimen to be admired, but so that his body could become a living testament of God's love for each of us. So I'm going to ask you today to think about this. What are you a living testament of? When I ask myself this question, I think about my 2 boys, Wesley and Russell. They're 3 in 1. My body is a miracle. My body's given to the world these 2 miracles. Oftentimes, our bodies fail us. We feel like through age and through the trials of life that our skin and our flesh has failed us, has failed our desires, has failed us in our dreams and our goals. And when you feel that way, I want you to remember that your body is a miracle in itself, that it's performed miracles, and that those miracles will continue to happen. I'm going to challenge each of you today to look in the mirror, and the next time you look in the mirror, to think of these 3 things. 1, you are a child of God. He loves you. He created you. Your body has a purpose and serves many purposes on this earth today. And 3, look for the miracles that have already been performed, and look for the miracles that will continue to be performed by you and your body and the bodies around you.